This is a place for planting, for digging, for harvesting, for relaxing. It's a place to get your hands dirty, but most of all, it's about having fun. And that's what you'll always have when you're in the garden with Doug Oster. You want a green thumb too, don't you? The number one gardening question, why doesn't my hydrangea bloom? Well, join the club. The most popular plant that we're growing is called Hydrangea macrophylla. That's the mophead variety, and after it's done blooming, what happens? It puts on buds. If we were to cut those buds off, we're going to lose the flowers for next year. That's the number one mistake people make. Most hydrangeas should never be pruned, never be trimmed back. But the other thing that can happen is those buds can freeze out. We're going to do a project to hopefully stop that from happening. But let's take a look at other types of hydrangeas that are more reliable bloomers. This is one of my absolute favorite hydrangeas. It's an old-fashioned variety called Annabelle. It blooms year after year, regardless of the winter. This variety, and only this variety, can actually be cut to the ground. There's one that's growing below it. It's not blooming right now, but look at these pictures. This is called Invincibelle Spirit. It's the first pink Annabelle variety. I love it. It's tough as nails. It blooms reliably. And the other great thing, that proceeds from buying this plant go to breast cancer research. Let's keep looking at hydrangeas. This is a hydrangea called Endless Summer, and not only does it put its buds on old wood, but also on the new wood too. So if they would freeze out, the new growth will put on flowers too. This is a brand new variety called Bloomstruck that blooms even better than the original Endless Summer, and you can change the color of the flowers by changing the pH. This is an oak leaf hydrangea. Look at those beautiful white conical blooms. Those will fade to pink, and it has a great exfoliating bark for at least 3 seasons of interest. There are lots of other types of hydrangeas which are also more reliable bloomers. These faded pink blooms were from one called Doublelicious, and when it was in its prime, it was amazing. I love it. I love double anything. Might be my favorite hydrangea. This is a Hydrangea macrophylla, and we're going to protect it from the winter so the buds don't freeze out by taking these tomato stakes, surrounding it, adding burlap on the outside, but leaving the top open for rain and snow, and hopefully that'll get it to bloom better. For the last few years, I've been doing this to a lot of my hydrangeas, the macrophyllas, and getting much better blooms. So let's get to work. We need to get to work. Thank you. Okay. Well, like all gardening jobs, when I pounded this stake in, I found this little hosta I forgot all about. And so before I surround this with burlap, I want to move the hosta. It's going to be happier over here in a shade bed, and the deer might enjoy it better over here too. They've been working their way into the patio. I've got this tree spade, which isn't actually the right tool. That's for trees, but it's out here. I'm going to use it. And this is a great time to be moving perennials around when the temperatures are cool, and this little guy will be really easy to move. Okay, come on over here. And whenever we plant anything, we water right away. Don't wait. All right, let's get back to our original job. Always something, isn't it? Okay, I know it looks ugly. I'm just going to tell people it's a brand new introduction that they can't see. That's why it's hidden. But it will hopefully keep those buds going through the winter, and we'll get some more blooms next year. Now, we had a surprise down below with that hosta. I've got something else unexpected that I walked by in the garden out here. Well, check this out. This is one of the surprises in the garden. I got this on sale about a month ago. Forgot I even put it in here. It's called a toad lily. It's a late bloomer, which is wonderful to have something blooming at the end of the season, and it is a beauty. Loves the shade, and it's just going nuts. The deer have been all over here, just like out in the rest of the garden. They're eating all this kind of stuff. I don't know if they like this toad lily, but I'm going to spray it with some Bob-X, but I'm not going to do it from here because this stuff smells. Well, let's see if we can keep the deer off this plant. I don't like the smell of Bob-X, but that's the idea. They don't like it either, and this plant is filled with buds. I want to see the flowers. There's one more plant I just have to show you. This is one of my favorites. This is Salvia Wendy's Wish. It's actually a zone 7 perennial, so for a zone 1 or 2 south of us, It will last a couple frosts and still have blooms on it, and hummingbirds love it. Now, our ruby-throated's gone, but you might get another one coming through for something like this. Just a great plant, easy to grow, and blooms like crazy. Now let's finish up. Well, I certainly didn't want to hide these behind burlap. These will make great dried flowers for indoors. For more information about everything we talked about today and to see more photos, videos, stories, and columns, check me out online. And until next week, I've got about 10 more hydrangeas to cover with burlap. We'll see you then. I am the ghost of the garden present. Spooky, spooky.